Good morning, good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are in the world watching this video. Thank you for returning to my channel and thank you to all those who have subscribed already. Today's video is a little bit different. I'm going to be talking to you guys probably for around about 10-15 minutes about the mistakes that I made when I first started the fitness industry. So, as you can see on here, top 5 mistakes. Now I'm talking about when I first started in the health and fitness industry. This is probably just after becoming level 2 qualified, doing my level 3. So we're talking, I was 17 at the time, so roughly about 12-13 years ago. Now on here I've got sleep, deadlifts, nutrition, overtraining and progression, like documentation. So I'm basically just going to go through these one by one now and into a little bit more depth, and to give you an insight into some of the mistakes that you also could be making when you start out in your health and fitness industry in a gym. So number 1, sleep. Now if you're a youngster, i.e. 20 to 24, 25, and you're going out and you're getting drunk every night and you're getting 2-3 hours sleep, even 4-5 hours sleep before work, or if you don't like drinking and you just like socialising, or if you just stay up for the sake of staying up, you're on your laptop, you're doing work, you're playing your Xbox or your PlayStation, stop. You need to be getting a certain amount of sleep between your gym sessions to help your body grow and to help your body replenish and recover. Now growing up back when I was 20-24, I loved a drink. I still like having a drink now, but it's very few and far between now. Back then when I was first training, obviously I got my noob gains, so I thought it was okay going out and drinking. It was not harming my body. It was absolutely fine. I'd recover from my hangover, I'd be able to get in the gym the next day, I was still seeing progression in my training. However, internally, my body was obviously not doing what it should be doing. Although I was feeling hungover, I was taking in a lot of alcohol, I was staying up late, I wasn't getting enough sleep, I was tired. As I started to get older, this started to affect my training on a higher level. A couple of years ago, I came to the realisation that whilst living with 2 friends, they were both DJs, they were both up all night, they both had limited sleep in what they did. And the current job role that I'm in now, yeah, I get limited sleep in what I do, but I just adapt my day now so that I make sure that I get a good solid 8, maybe 9 hours sleep a night. And that might mean just going to bed a little bit earlier. That extra hour that you have in the morning to have in bed, to sleep, to rest, is going to be essential for your time in the gym. It's all well and good growing up, going out, socialising, having limited amount of sleep, or being at uni or something. I'm not saying don't do that. Still do those things. Just be wary that as you do get older and the less and less sleep you start to have, it will make a detrimental impact on your training in the gym. So that's my first tip. Make sure that you are getting a good 8-9 hours in bed each night, but still try and maintain your social life. Still try and maintain the gym. Try not to be as tired when you wake up in the morning. Number 2, deadlifts. Now, I'm going to start by getting my pet hate straight out of the way. Now we're talking about a conventional deadlift, not a Romanian deadlift, stiff leg, straight leg deadlift, whatever you want to call it. Conventional deadlift, lifting a dead weight from the floor to a standing position. My mistake, I didn't have enough regularity on the deadlift. I would recommend that you do deadlifts once a week. Bear in mind of back day and leg day, as you will hit those muscle groups whilst you are deadlifting. A lot of people like to deadlift on their back day. Some people will change deadlift for a squat. Both is absolutely fine, but there's one key rule. Technique, guys. I have seen it so many times in the gym and it irritates the hell out of me. Somebody, let's say Dave. Sorry for any Daves watching this video. Dave comes into the gym. He's 22 years old. He weighs about 80 kilos. Starts deadlifting. Someone has told him to deadlift to improve his lower back strength, which is fine. So Dave goes in the gym. He puts on his body weight, 80 kilos. He lifts his 80 kilos absolutely fine. He then says to himself, well, I'm going to go a bit heavier. He goes to 100, 110, 120. He goes up to a certain weight that he cannot lift it with good technique from the floor. He cannot. So why is Dave doing it then? In my experience, and I've done a lot of bodybuilding training, your technique will fade once you get to a certain weight. But never, ever, ever compromise important muscle groups such as your core, your midsection, the building blocks of the center of your body, your lower back, for example, on the deadlift. Never compromise that to get a PB on your deadlift. If I had £1 for every single time I gave advice to someone who was deadlifting wrong, I would not be making this video right now. I would definitely be in Barbados somewhere, sunning it up, getting a tan. So guys, just going off topic a little bit there. Deadlift. Make sure you deadlift once a week. Okay, that's all you have to do. One deadlift session a week. Work at 60 to 80% of your 1 rep max. If you are going to attempt your 1 rep max, there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you do it under controlled circumstances and your technique is bang on. And I'll be doing a video on how to deadlift correctly for all those people who don't know how to deadlift correctly. Remember, when you deadlift, it is probably the biggest movement that you can do in the gym that incorporates multiple muscle groups. Primarily the hamstring, the lower back, the upper back, including the lats, your traps, your biceps, your rear deltoid. You are incorporating so many muscle groups through one range of motion. It is so important to do that once a week. If you want to do it twice a week, do it twice a week. If your body will allow you to do it twice a week, do it twice a week. For me, when I deadlifted, once a week was enough because I was playing football on Saturdays. I was also getting a squat session in on a different day, so I was pushing growth through my legs twice a week on 2 separate occasions through 2 big compound movements. Also, another benefit from the deadlift is you'll find that your other movements will go up in weight and your strength will increase, like your pull-up. It could be as simple as doing something like bicep curls. Your squat will definitely improve from doing deadlifts. Overall core stability is going to improve from doing deadlifts. Your grip strength is going to improve from doing deadlifts. So once a week, that's all I'm going to say. Next up is nutrition. Now, again, referring back to noob gains, when I first started training in the gym, I put on a stone like that. I then put on the next half a stone like that. And I was thinking to myself, buddy, I'm going home and I'm eating McDonald's, I'm having beers at the weekend with my mates, I'm having chocolate, I'm having sweet. I was basically eating anything that I wanted to eat. I was not tracking anything. I weren't working off of what my body weight should be intaking, what my body weight outtakes on a daily basis, none of that. It was only until I started doing my level 3, 1 to 2 years down the line, that I started realising how I could break through my plateau, because you will plateau, and start increasing my weights up even more, getting stronger, utilising my proteins, my carbs and my fats for my workout, on and off the gym, remember, because 9 times out of 10 you don't really eat in the gym. You eat before, you eat after, and then you carry on throughout the rest of the day. What you put in your body on a daily basis is imperative, okay, nutrition wise, to your training. Now for me, I started working out my macros when I was maybe 22, 23, so I'd had 3 or 4 years training before I even knew anything, before I even knew what macro was really. And it was only after then did I start to, as I say, break through the plateau of training. My strength started to increase, I started to get bigger again, my shape started to change, and the main thing was for me was my legs. My legs went from being stick chicken legs to somewhat more muscular, vascular as well, if you're in a deficit, that is. So when we talk about macros and calorie counting, we've obviously got a deficit where you take away a certain amount of calories each day so that you are gradually losing weight. Then you have a surplus, which obviously does the opposite. So you add in more calories, so then you gradually gain weight, but you do it in the right way. So you're not drastically taking away a shitload of calories to start off with. You're not drastically pumping yourself up with calories. You're doing it gradually. So quickly, for example, let's say my body needs 2,500 calories to maintain the way I look right now. If I want to slowly start chipping away, say I've got a holiday coming up 10, 12 weeks before my holiday, I'll start taking my calories down. But I won't take them down to 1,500 straight away. I'll take them down to 2,300, 2,200. 4 weeks in, I'll take them down to 2,000. 2 weeks left, I might take them down to 1,800, 1,700. But remember, that is not sustainable all year round. That is only to lean down for, I don't know, a competition if you're doing that, if you just want to lean up if you're going on holiday, if you just want to look a bit more shredded. And you can do that in the summer or in the winter, it's totally up to you. That is the way to do it, gradual. A lot of off-season bodybuilders, amateur and pro, in the winter will make sure they have a surplus. So again, if my maintenance is 2,500, they might like to have 2,700, 2,800. And just slowly creep it up that way. I think when I was bulking, my surplus calories was 3,200 calories, which at first I was loving it. I can have all this good food here, 6, 7 meals a day. But again, you'll find that very hard to sustain that because your body is not used to it. So you have to do it gradually in order to be able to go for a longer period of time. So again, my advice, start tracking your calories. Start working out your macros for you. Everyone's different. You're not going to be the same as your training partner. Someone's giving you advice on what they're doing. Don't listen to what they're doing. Work it out for yourself. There's plenty of videos on YouTube nowadays that, you know, tell you how to work out your macros and how many calories, how many proteins, how many grams of carbs, how many grams of fats that you need to maintain, to be in a deficit, and then to be in a surplus. I'll do a video on macros at a later date as well. Number 4, overtraining. Again, referring back to when I first started training, I would spend roughly 2 to 2.5 hours in the gym. Too much. For me, if you're spending 2.5 hours in the gym, you might think that that's working for you. But for me, it was terrible. So I would get to the gym, if I was on earlies, I'd get to the gym for 6 o'clock. It would be dark. I would finish at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I would then train until 4, half 4. I'd leave the gym, it'd be dark. What do you think is the main problem with that? Sunlight, being outside, vitamin D. I was inside a gym for over 10, 11 hours. In the winter, I wasn't seeing any sunlight. I was spending way too long in the gym training. I should have been training from 2 till 3. An hour is all you need. If you're training right and you're training hard enough, an hour is all you need, guys. I'm telling you that right now. You do not need to be spending 2 hours plus in the gym working on this lift, that lift, that lift, this lift, throwing in all of your compound lifts on shoulders, one after the other, doing mega sets, 10 sets, 15 sets. You don't need to do it. I do agree with volume training, and I get that a lot of people like to do a lot of sets and a lot of reps. That's fine if it works for you. It works for me. But what doesn't work for me is spending longer than what I need to in the gym. My advice on being able to override this is keep your rest periods minimal so that you are burning more calories, your metabolism is getting faster. An hour to an hour and 15 roughly is what I would recommend to do in the gym. Now this is obviously what works best for me. What works best for me won't always work best for you, but I can only give you my advice from the experience and the years that I have under my belt in the fitness industry. Lastly, hope you're all still there with me. Lastly, number 5 is progression. Now, with that, what I mean is a documentation of your progression. So, when you first start, you might be lifting 40 kilos on the incline bench press. A year down the line, you might be lifting 80 kilos on the incline bench press. But it's very difficult to remember how many sets, what your 1 rep max was, and how many reps you were doing of a certain weight. Now, for me, I can't really remember what I used to lift when I was 17, 18. Not a lot, and I still don't really lift a lot now in comparison to what I did then. I've gone through different periods of bringing my strength up, bringing my strength down, bringing my strength up, bringing my strength down. There's pros and cons to doing that both ways. However, I would say keep yourself a little notebook. Start jotting down a few things on what you're lifting and what you're doing in the gym, because I guarantee you 10 years down the line you'll look back at that documentation and you'll be so glad that you've done it, because you can see your natural progression throughout those 10 years of what you've accomplished. And let's be honest, when you go to the gym and you accomplish your new PB on a 1 rep max, or you get 10 reps out of a certain weight that you've never been able to do, it's a massive achievement, it's a big accomplishment. And I think that there should be some sort of proof there just to show you how far you've come and to help keep you motivated as well, because motivation is one of the biggest things that lets people down, chucks people off the rails and stops people from going to the gym, or in sort of like little bits and bobs. So you'll go for a couple of months, then you'll stop for a couple of months because you're not seeing any progression, then you'll go again, then you'll stop again. So documenting your training, I think, again, is a good way of sustaining motivation and helping keep you in the gym for longer. So guys, just a quick recap. I hope I haven't bored you too much. On here we've got sleep. Make sure you're getting a good 8 to 9 hours. Deadlifts once a week. Nutrition. Work out your macros, what you need daily to be in a deficit and to be in a surplus, or just to maintain. Overtraining. An hour and a half tops. Don't be in the gym for longer than what you need to. Okay, you're still going to get your results. And progression. Taking a little notepad in the gym with you. Start documenting what your lifts are, how many reps you're doing, how many sets you're doing, and then further down the line, you'll be able to look back and see what you were doing and have a real sense of achievement and accomplishment. So, that is basically it, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in today. If you're still with me, I really appreciate it. Please give the video a thumbs up and also hit the subscribe button if you want to. I haven't had a video on here for a little while now. It's been a few weeks. I've had work and other things going on in my life, but I will try to upload again very soon. I've got some footage already loaded into my camera for my next video, so I will hopefully see you guys in the next one, and I hope that you've taken something from this today on those 5 things that I've made mistakes on in the past. You guys watching, if you're young enough, start now. Start doing these things now, and I promise you that in 5, 6, 7 to 10 years time you'll be so glad of watching this video, because I wish I watched a video like this when I was young and naive back then. Cheers guys.